Hi there, I'm Dylan Tanner and this is Movement for Mind and Meaning. Today we're going to talk about something I think is both simple and powerful, matching your choice of movement to your mood for the day. Let's be honest, we don't always wake up ready to smash a gym session or run a marathon. Sometimes we wake up wanting to do nothing and it feels like nothing can get us going. We're tired, restless, stuck in our own heads. And when we feel that way, it can feel like movement is completely off the table. But what if there's a better strategy than to try and fight your mood, override it, but to meet it, to find the kind of movement that fits where you are right now in the moment? That's what we're talking about today. A lot of us grew up with this idea that exercise looks one way. Maybe it's the gym, maybe it's team sports, maybe it's park runs. And if we're not doing that, then we feel we're not doing it right and there's no point. That belief really can be debilitating. Because what happens when you're on a bad day, mentally exhausted or grieving? If you only have one definition of movement, you'll feel like you're failing. And that guilt and shame you have for yourself can build up. You start saying to yourself, I should be doing more, I should be stronger, I should be consistent, and you end up shoulding all over yourself. But movement is so varied. There's so many different options. There isn't one right way. There's your way for where you are on any given day in the moment. And that can change tomorrow and that's okay. I'll give you a personal example. During some of my lowest periods, I couldn't imagine running or lifting at all. But that's what was stuck in my head. I felt I had to bang out those big intense workouts. With that came shame, guilt and anxiety when I simply couldn't manage it. The idea of those workouts had the opposite effect. They nailed me to the bed. The overwhelm was so strong. And then I would feel worse about myself, and so goes that vicious cycle. What I could manage though was walking up and down my street, just once, and in that moment, that counted. That was movement. No shame, no guilt, no pressure added. Just a simple walk that doesn't have to mean anything or count towards some big goal. You can do it just because it's movement, because it'll get you feeling something a little or even maybe a lot different. So part one of matching movement to your mood is this. Drop the idea in your head that there's a right or wrong way to move, because there's lots of ways and they all count. With that mindset shift, movement becomes something you want to do. You feel the weight around movement lifting. And with that, you feel you can be consistent with it because you can adapt it to your emotional ups and downs and choose what's right for you in the moment. This really is such a beneficial skill to work and improve at. And as you get more practice in with this flexibility around how you feel on any given day, the act of asking yourself, what do I feel? What movement is right for me right now? This is emotional intelligence training. Over time, it sharpens your self-awareness and your ability to regulate yourself, not just in exercise, but across all areas of life. And the first step you can take is to check in with yourself and start to look at what you could manage today mentally, emotionally, and physically. The two questions I like to ask myself are, what does my body need right now? And what do I actually have the energy for? Sometimes it's really obvious and I love the idea of going for a good 1 to 3 hour hike. Other times it takes more time for me to get going, and it might just be a walk up and down my street that I can manage. It takes practice to listen to yourself, to check in instead of pushing through. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. And here's the thing. When you choose the right movement for your mood, you're more likely to actually do it. You don't dread it, you don't feel like a failure, you feel like you've done something good for yourself, and this becomes self-care. And this can really mean something to you. Okay, so let's get practical. I want to walk you through 3 different moods and the types of movement that often pair well with them, as some possible starting points for you when it comes to matching movement with your mood. The heavy mood, when you feel flat, low, or stuck. This is the fog state, depression, grief, or just plain burnout. The body feels heavy. The thought of moving feels impossible. What works here? Gentle, light efforts. Think short walks, yoga, stretching in bed even. Standing up and shaking out your arms for 30 seconds. I know this might sound silly, but it can actually feel okay. I'll personally get up and bang out some shoulder rolls and hip circles sometimes, just to get some blood moving. These would usually be in my gym warm-ups, so I use them as a potential starter to something more, but if I just manage them, that's okay and it's still something. Remember, we're not trying to fix this heavy mood. We're just looking for something a little more than feeling stuck in bed or on the sofa, and that little reminder can sometimes spark something more. And even if that is sometimes too much, I'll tell myself to just get some music on and see how I go. Or one YouTube video about something that interests me, or I'll stick an audio book on. That's it, and 9 times out of 10, I feel a bit lighter. Not cured, but a little less stuck. I did something. Another thing I'll add, that I like to do quite often when I realise I'm in the funk, if you're spending your day doom scrolling, delete your social media apps for a few hours, or a day or two, and see how you go with that. Sometimes for me, that's all it's taken and I feel so much better within 10 to 20 minutes. It really is so surprising how much of a negative effect they have on us sometimes, especially when we're on there too much. The restless mood. When you're buzzing, anxious or wired, this is when your brain is racing, your body's twitchy, you can't focus. Release is the goal here. Your body has pent-up energy it needs to get rid of. So think more dynamic movement. A jog, a fast walk, a short HIIT workout, cycling, or even banging some dance tunes on and going for it around your bedroom or living room. I've had days when my anxiety was so high I couldn't sit still or write or even watch TV. Sitting still and doing nothing didn't help. Getting moving and sweating did. I kept going until I felt I'd used that energy up and I was feeling good mentally. After that, I could finally slow down. If you're in that restless place, give yourself permission to go faster, go bigger, go harder, burn it off, then rest. The numb mood, when you're feeling disconnected or dissociated. This one's tricky. You don't feel sad or anxious, you just feel nothing. Empty, almost like you're floating outside your own body. Here, sensory things can really help. Things that pull you back into yourself. For me, walking on the beach or in the mountains is really powerful when I feel like this. Not just because of the walking itself, but because of the fresh air, the different smells, different feelings on your skin, the sounds of the sea at the beach or the sounds of birdsong in the mountains. But if movement is really out for me, then my go-tos are incense sticks and a hot bath. So I get smelling and feeling different things to try and pull myself back into my body and mind. And sometimes, do you know what? Sometimes I just can't manage anything. Some days I don't manage a workout, a walk, a bath, or even get out of bed. It happens. It's important to know that when that happens, you're not failing. It's just one day, and you still need to be compassionate with yourself. No guilt, shame, or self-judgment. Because when we're stressed, low, or overwhelmed, we're going to have days like that sometimes, and that's completely normal. Let it go and try again tomorrow, because tomorrow is a new day. Sometimes it's hard to know the difference between what you need for yourself and what you've always been told to do. Most of us grew up with so many rules and shoulds that our own thoughts and voice got buried underneath all the shoulds and have-tos. You can start to recognize where these are coming from by paying attention to the language. If you catch yourself saying, I should, I have to, I'm supposed to, that's usually someone else's voice. But if you hear, I'd like, I feel, I'm curious about, that's going to be closer to your own needs then. You can also test this in how your body responds to approaching different things. Think about the thing you feel you should be doing. Does it feel tight, heavy? Do you feel resistance? Now think about the thing you actually want to do. Does it carry even the smallest sense of ease or relief? That difference really matters, especially when we're trying to build consistent positive habits for ourselves. And remember, it won't always be clear-cut or neat. Sometimes you might not pick up on your language, but every time you do and you choose your own voice, even in the smallest way, you're learning the difference, and with practice over time, like with anything, you'll get better and better. So that's it for today, and just to wrap up, matching movement to your mood is about checking in with yourself and listening to what your body and mind is capable of today. It's not about forcing yourself to try big, bold workouts when you feel you can't even get out of bed. It's about choosing the right size of movement for today and knowing that it all counts. Some days you'll be feeling great and you won't even want to leave the gym. Other days you'll be walking slow. Both are valid. Both are movement. We're definitely not chasing perfection here. We're just trying to stay connected to our body, to the present, and to ourselves. That's it for today. If this episode resonated with you, it would mean the world to me if you would share it with a friend who might need the reminder that movement can meet them right where they are. Thanks for tuning in to Movement for Mind and Meaning, a place for people just like you who want to keep trying for something more.